welcome to the third day of the 12 days of Christmas, or for this occasion, the last day of Hanukkah. That's right, you didn't think you could get away with me at least mentioning Hanukkah once in my Jewish heritage and all that. Did you? Anyway, for this video, I decided to go down memory lane once more and discuss something I used to watch a lot as a kid at this time of year, that being Hanukkah Tales and Tunes. What is it, you may ask? Well, I guess that means it's time to get out of the intro and head over to the history section of the video. So to start off, we need to talk about what Tales and Tunes is, which Tales and Tunes is a direct-to-video series for little kids, little kids. Anyway, that had songs and stories that was educational. The series itself featured different types of, genres, talking about silly things, sports, Halloween, Christmas, which, yes, I know I should be talking about that today, but to be honest, I really just resisted this franchise as a whole. But anyway, and of course, the one we're talking about today, Hanukkah. This series was created by Backyard Productions, or Backyard Enterprises, Inc. It goes by different names, but that's one I just decided to choose here. And it's made by two women, Amy Winchub and Brooks McEwen. Hopefully I pronounced those names right. If not, I am apologizing here now. Which Amy now herself runs that way. They made Tales and Tunes alongside baby songs, which, God forbid, no, I'm not putting myself through listening that. Deal with it. Long story short, I created a company to make songs that kids enjoy and don't drive parents up the wall, which really shows that they care. Also, it makes me wonder if they hate Baby Shark, because God forbid that, I hate it. It's annoying of a song, I'll say it. So, yeah. Anyway, for the Tales and Tunes series, they started off with original Tales and Tunes in 1992, which had songs and stories to entertain the kids. It was original stuff they created for it. And in 1994, Hanukkah Tales and Tunes was released to make Jewish kids feel included. That's just me saying that. But anyway, hard to tell if this is the last one from the series, but I'm almost positive considering there wasn't anything else, even though the footage I watched could have easily had been a later release and they had all the ones, showing at the end, but I'm almost positive. And for some odd reason, this one is not on their website, the Baby Songs website, so I can't tell you why it's not there. But anyway, I think we've been in this section for way too long, so let's actually get into the Hanukkah Tales and Tunes story arc and what it is, really. So the rundown for what the overall plot of the special is that there's this puppet named KJ, which he pretty much shows up a lot, I think, throughout the whole entirety of the series. He's the main character, pretty much. Anyway, he's watching his friends, caretakers, actual family? I'm not actually honestly sure, but he's watching them, celebrate and set up Hanukkah, which he doesn't really know much about the holiday. They then teach him what Hanukkah is, why they celebrate it, and how they celebrate it. They do this mostly through song, but also they have little story skits, but anyway, by the end, they celebrate together by lighting up the menorah, which before I quickly go into the highlights and lowlights and just, things I want to mention throughout the shorts and stuff like that. I want to say they're lighting up all the candles for the menorah, so it means it's the last day of Hanukkah. So I have a couple of questions. First of all, how has the puppet Kid KJ not asked what they were doing for 8 straight days? Does he not care? Was he visiting? Is this just I don't know. I don't want to go into the whole thing because I'm not one of those channels that goes into what is the plot, what is the meaning, but seriously, I want to know though. I'm just curious. But anyway, that's not what we're here for discussing today, so that's all I wanted to point out there. So let's go to the highlights first of what I thought about the special. So to start off, I want to talk about the songs since there's a lot in this, and in fact, actually, it's majority of this special is just songs that way. But anyway, for the most part, they're actually pretty good. I'm actually quite surprised by it, because I really thought I was going to not really like the songs coming back to this as an adult, since I thought they were going to be very, kiddie, which there are still, of course. But yeah, they're not that bad, all things considered, that way. So yeah, I'm going to list them to low to high, even though they're not really low here since it's the highlight. I will mention the ones I don't like. These are just the ones I like, just in order from, whatever, that way. So anyway, there's the dreidel song, the classic one. It's a little bit sillier in this. It's very folksy, kind of weird, but I don't know, I still enjoy it. It's fun, that way. We have Miracles Aren't Just Magic, which is a bit slow, but I still enjoy it for how simple it is, and it's just kind of nice, it's just a nice one. Antiochus Epiphanes, which is pretty dang catchy, I'm not gonna lie. It's definitely interesting to listen to, and it's definitely, very, very easy to get caught on your head a bit. But one that does get in my head a lot is One More Day of Oil, which is, I feel like, the best of them all. Like, literally after, like, watching the special, this song has been stuck in my head a lot of times. Like, it'll just randomly pop in my head, and I just will be humming it. It's insane. It's really good, actually. So, that's my take on the music. I think getting out of the music section a little bit and just talking about the overall feeling of it, I think my favorite sections of the entirety of the thing is when the three adults / that one kid, but mostly the three adults, are talking to KJ and singing the songs, as I mentioned, those 3 songs. I feel like they rambled on a bit much, but I mean, what am I gonna do? It's for kids, but still, it is a little rambly for my opinion, but it was still fun. I still enjoyed those parts, but yeah, sadly that's not a lot of highlights, so we're gonna get into the lowlights. So now we're on to, sadly, the lowlights, which I will mention the 2 songs that I did not like, which are the last 2 by the end. The second to last one is called Hanukkah Melody, and the last one is called Light the Menorah. Both have kids singing, which I'm not a fan of, but also the second to last one is just not as catchy to me for some reason, and it's kind of hard to understand because of the Hebrew that they sing throughout the song, so it makes it harder to sing along, which I understand that's my fault, because I don't know how to, speak Hebrew and all that, and how to pronounce it, all that, but it's also because the quality of the audio doesn't really help either. I mean, obviously it's just time and all that doesn't help, but yeah, that's kind of the issue with that one. The overall special, though, I mentioned the repetitiveness, but I really gotta mention it more fully because it's very going nowhere feeling. It's not, I understand it's for kids, but I don't know why this kept me entertained as a kid. I feel like most kids would just kind of be bored by like the first, maybe 10 minutes. I don't know. I just, it just feels like it's going, like I said, going nowhere. So I don't know how to describe it. That's kind of my opinion on it, though. I just feel like it's a little too repetitive. But anyway, with that, we're going to have one more section. I want to talk about something because I couldn't really tell you where I wanted to put it. So yeah, we're gonna go to that really quick before we get to like my final thoughts. Okay, like I said, I don't know where I wanted to put this, so I'm putting it like in the extra category just because why not? But it's because of how oddly it aged to me in a way. Like looking at an adult just kind of makes me weirded out now. So yeah, it's one of the stories, as I mentioned before. There's like one story in this, and this is the one. It's like a Little Red Riding Hood parody called Galia and the Goblin. So the general gist of the short is Galia is going back home from school and has made presents for her parents for Hanukkah. She's stopped by a goblin who wants her gifts, but she refuses to give it to him and instead challenges him to a game of dreidel for them instead. They play and the goblin loses and gets very sad about how no one has ever given him anything on Hanukkah, which I would understand more if it was that no one has given him anything at all, but Hanukkah specifically, I don't know. Anyway, the girl feels bad and gives him her prized dreidel that they had the game with that way, and now they get along and they're friends, and she brings him home for dinner. So yeah, my problem with this short is how, like I said, uncomfortable it makes me feel. Just watch this one clip and you'll understand what I mean a bit.
Shin.
I think it's a couple of things. Like, one, it's the bad acting. I think the actors are both adults, which I can't tell you if they were better if they were both kids or not. Maybe there'd be like some kind of charm to it. I don't know. But the fact that they're both like full grown like adults, like maybe like in their like late 30s, early 40s, just makes me icky for some reason. I don't know what it is. But it's just overall the vibe of the scene. It's dark. It's it's just so weird that way. I know I'm supposed to learn an important lesson about being kind to others and, don't judge a book by its cover, blah, 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 But all I got out of this is just straight up stranger danger. Like, 'cause, yeah, I don't think the parents are going to be happy when she brings home this creep from, the forest, like, I don't think they're going to be happy about that, that's for sure. Also, one other point I want to make is I'm almost certain the actors are not Jewish, and I know that sounds weird, why does that matter, but it's just, like, I just want to mention it here. At least I don't think they are. I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, like, let me know. But, like, I'm almost positive because I look at the IMDb page and, like, there's not even really much information on them, so I couldn't tell you, really. I mean, look, here's my one evidence. Look how they spin the dreidel. I mean, look, I'm not great at it, okay? But, like, you know, look, they're not even trying. So, like, what's the point, man? Like, if they were Jewish, then for shame how badly they spun that dreidel. They should have went more, okay? I don't care if they wanted to make the scene, like, just no. No. Also, sorry if the audio sounds bad for this, but I also wanted to add this tiny little thing I noticed, which, if you notice how I mentioned earlier they were lighting the menorah, they lit the wrong way. They did left to right. You're supposed to light it right to left. So that's another point I wanted to quickly make. Anyway, that's it. Let's go into, like, my final thoughts of the overall special. So now we're on the final thoughts. So what was my thoughts of going back to the special after so many years? And honestly, it's underwhelming at best. It's not like it's terrible, but honestly, it's kind of boring for what it is. It's very sad too, as there should have been, like, more for Jewish kids who celebrate Hanukkah and feel very excluded during the holidays, especially about Christmas, since there's so many Christmas specials and not really much for, like, Hanukkah specials that way. I think, you know, I finally understand why I watched the special a lot as a kid. I think even though we could have celebrated Hanukkah, but instead we decided to celebrate Christmas more. I'm half Jewish that way. By the way, I should make that emphasize a point that way. So that's why we celebrate more Christmas. It's not like that I didn't want to celebrate Hanukkah. It's just we just ended up doing that because it was easier and practically a little bit more exciting. Let's just say it that way. I'm not trying to be rude about that. I'm just saying that it's a little more exciting that way. But I think I still wanted to represent my Jewish side of my family anyway. And I think in my kid mind, I think it was the only way to do it. I mean, we even now don't really celebrate other than just lighting the menorah, which we have only just done that in recent years because we got an electric one. But, like, other than that, not really much. So I think I watched this that I wanted to represent my culture in some fashion, and it kind of sucks because, I mean, it's basic representation, but it's not really much overall. It still could have been, like, way better. I don't know. It's just, yeah, I feel like, especially what I mentioned earlier about, like, the actors not being Jewish, it's just, like, again, there's not really much feeling of authenticity to it. I think it was just made for the sake of just pushing out there. Just I appreciate that they wanted to make something for Jewish kids, but I feel like there just could have been way more research done. I think they just did very baseline and that's it that way. And I get, again, for little kids, but, you know, still that way. But yeah, overall, the special was boring. And there's not really much worth watching other than the weird Little Red Riding Hood scene because it's just a weird way to make people feel kind of weirdly uncomfortable in, like, a way that, you know, is fun, you know, and at the end of the day. So that's what I do with this every time I show people off this thing. So now you get to see it too. But anyway, yeah, let's get to the outro because it's taking way too long. And we are now on to the outro. Sorry about that one small portion by the middle when I was talking about the whole extra stuff and the menorah thing. I was lazy to grab the microphone for that, and I was in the middle of editing, so this is kind of me finished with editing and all that. So yeah, I hope you all enjoyed this video. It was a little weird, a little different for me. I mean, I've only done, like, you know, this, like, once with, like, the Amp of Life, but this is kind of first time I've done it with, like, video type of media thing, not a video game. So hopefully it was okay for what it was. But yeah, if you want me to do the rest of the series at some point, if I could do the rest of the series, of course, it depends how I obtain the footage. But yeah, if you want me to continue with the series, let me know and what you thought of the video itself that way. Because, yeah, I'm curious, you know, because this is kind of fun. This is interesting, going back memory lane of something I look back, you know, looking back at something from my childhood. It was fun still to do so. So, yeah, anyway, with that, I hope you all enjoyed the video. If you like it, if you dislike it, like I said, comment below if you want me to continue doing stuff like this, whether it be the Tales and Tunes series or a different medium that you want me to cover like this. Let me know. Subscribe, and I will see you guys tomorrow for the next day of the 12 Days of Christmas. So, bye, guys.